Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ball chat.
Greetings and welcome to another riveting episode of Ball Chat BCN Sports World Cup Watch Along. It's win or go home time. It's a time when the real contenders step up and the pretenders go home. Well, in some cases the pretenders moved on, but it is what it is. But we definitely get for run home some teams that don't belong in the World Cup. It's France versus Sweden. Big football game here. A lot can happen. A lot to dissect. Earlier today, Norway survived and defeated Ivory Coast 2-1. Erling Haaland on the scoring sheet again, showing why he's the man for the moment. I don't care how simple the goal is. I don't care how easy the goal was. He's showing that he's a man for the moment as Norway moved on. And they will be playing Brazil this Sunday. Big game. We'll talk more about that. But for the game today, it's all about Sweden versus France. And this is the starting lineup for France. We have Magman in goal. We have Digna, Saliba, Upamecano, Kunde in the back line, Rabiot and Tuchemeni, the mainstays in midfield, while the front four of Barcola, Olise, Dembele, and the man himself, Mbappe, up top. As we look at Didier Deschamps, returning from laying his mom to rest. Why a lot of tragedies have happened during the World Cup. As we look at Graham Potter, let's see how Graham Potter deployed his team. Sweden with Zetterstrom in goal. We have Gudmundsson, Lindelof, and Lagerbielke in the back. Bergvall and Ayari having midfield duties. We have Stroud and Svensson on the opposite flanks. We have Alexander Isak, Ilanga, apparently playing in the 10 positions, with Gyökeres leading the line. Put the predictions in the chat. You know what? The World Cup has created so many moments so far has been created in this World Cup. Can Sweden do us one better from what Paraguay did to Germany? Can Sweden upset the apple cart? As France is 1A, many people have France as a favorite, or one of the two main favorites. I think them and Argentina share favorites, but Sweden will be kicking off first. Sweden will be kicking from left to right as we have kickoff. And I did not update the score. Hold on. We have kickoff with Sweden in possession. Here's Elanga. Try to get the ball out right there. But head it out. And it's a free kick for France. Keys to the game. France just have to be France. Sweden, Gyökeres was on record saying that they have to have a perfect game for them to beat France. I don't think they need to have a perfect game. However, that backline for Sweden has to be resolute. I'm talking Lindelof will have to play out his socks. Gudmundsson and Lagerbielke, to be fair, they're up against it, but Lindelof compared has the experience where he can come out now and really help the Swedish backline. Throw in for Sweden as we get an early look at Kylian Mbappe. And Gyökeres pulled down there. Looks like he's pulled down by Saliba, his club teammate actually. Both players coming off a successful Premiership campaign for Arsenal. Here's Lagerbeck in possession, going all the way back to his goalkeeper, Zetterstrom. Zetterstrom now looking long, Trying to get it longer, but headed away there by Digna. Mad scrap there in the middle. Comes all the way to Ilanga. Now to Bergval. Bergval goes all the way back to Lagerbeck. Lagerbeck to his stalwart Lindelof. Lindelof now looking long. Trying to get Yockers in behind. He has Saliba for company. Yockers does well. Isaac at the top of the 18. Could have a tame shot on goal. None yet. He got the space, got the shot off. And it was, meat and drink for Magnan. But early warning signs here for Sweden. Or early warning signs for France from Sweden. Tushimene hacked down by Isaac. And he was closed down well there by Isaac. Here's France in possession with Saliba. Here's Tushimene. Out right to Kunde. If there's a weak link for France, I'm not sold on Kunde as a right back. If there's a weak link, I think Isaac can find some joy against Kunde. Here's Dembele brought down right by Ayari. Yeah, by Ayari. And it's a free kick to France midway in the Swedish half. People, do remember to hit the like, hit the subscribe button. BCN Sports Watch Along. We just provide watch along services for all those who cannot watch the game, or if you're tired of the bias commentary, that's what we prefer. Here's a free kick in the box for France. Heads go up. Rabiot tries to put it back in, headed away there by Lindelof. And now a throw in for France deep in the Swedish half as Digna now lines up for a throw. Get the ball into Elisa. Elisa gets all the way back to Saliba. And now Elisa now takes possession of the ball. As Sweden now has all 11 players back deep in their half. Here's Mbappe. Gets the ball out right to Dembele. Dembele drops the shoulder. Mbappe tries to get a touch there, and I think maybe that was Gyökeres that did well. But here's Elanga. Now breaking away with speed. Cuts ball back inside. Has teammates for company, but was unable to get forward. And now he's easily dispossessed by Elisa. And now Elisa looking long, trying to get Barcola in behind. And the goalkeeper, Zederstrom, has to come out and kick it off for throw-in deep in the Swedish half. Chouameni out right to Kunde. Kunde out further right to Dembele. Dembele back to Kunde. Kunde has options. Roll it back to Dembele. Here's Chouameni. As France is now beginning to probe 30 yards out from goal, here's Rabiot. Rabiot gets the ball out left. And a wayward pass there by Barcola. And Gyökeres was there to pounce on it. And now wins a free kick for Sweden as they can now release some of the pressure. And that's one thing Gyökeres does well. I think Gyökeres, I don't know if that was part of his reputation when he was in Portugal. I think he was more seen as a goal poacher. But what we've seen him done in Arsenal, he's done well with the hold-up play, releasing pressure, holding the ball back to goal. And he showed some of that there, winning a free kick for Sweden. But Sweden kicked the ball long and goes right back to France. Here's Rabiot. Gets the ball into Elisa. Elisa one touch of Barcola. And Olisa now chopped down again by Ayari. Let's keep an eye on those. That's his second foul by Ayari in the first 6 minutes. Another chop down tackle. Not as bad as it seems, but free kick to France. As the Swedish midfielders definitely are not in the mood to let France play the ball in front of them. Here's Upamecano, tries to get the ball in for it, and almost got Kylian Mbappe in. Somehow, with Sweden playing those deep of a back line, Mbappe almost got in. I think he would have been offside though, but still. Here's Lagerback, trying to survey the field, trying to find his option. Picks Svensson instead. Now he finally goes long, but easily cut out here by Upamecano. Chouameni easily had lost possession there by Isaac. And now Isaac now has a chance to run at Saliba. Saliba goes back to his goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper now sends it on to Digna. And here's Rabiot. In possession, get the ball out right to Upamecano. Upamecano out to Kunde. Kunde to Dembele. Dembele looking down the right and almost had Olisa going down the right, and another warning sign here for Sweden, as when France decides that they want to go at them, it's a problem. It really is. Let me get my teams back in order here. Hold on. Has France now in possession. There you go. Here's Rabiot. Gets the ball right to Chouameni. To Olisa. Back to Dembele. Dembele goes back to Upamecano. Upamecano goes to left to Saliba. Saliba full to even further left to Digna. Here's Digna. It's the ball inside of Rabiot. As Sweden does well dispossessing them here. Can Isaac get Gyökeres off to the races here? He does. Upamecano is there with him for company. Gyökeres does well to get the ball back to Svensson. And now the ball gets Ayara in the middle. And Sweden is forced to go back to Bergvall. Anyway, here's Svensson. Has Elanga for company. Gets the ball to Elanga. Sweden refuses to put the ball in the box. Here's Bergvall. Get the ball to Ayari. Ayari cuts in on the right and tries to play a 1-2 with Gyökeres, but he was cut off. But he does well to close down the ball. And now it's a throw in for Sweden. Midway in the French half. Still early days, early 10 minutes and gone in the game.
Do you mind? Yeah, I was about to play that.
As we're looking at the dignitaries there, that's Arsene Wenger. Throwing for Sweden. Samuel Yari gets possession. Now the ball is with Stroud, who tries to put the ball in the back post and overhits it a bit. Graham Potter should be happy with the start of the game, though. As we're in the field World Cup group of 32, win or go home. Earlier today, Ivory Coast was dispatched by Norway 2-1. Here's Elisa. Gets the ball into Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe gets the ball out right to Kunde. Kunde now to Dembele. Dembele easily eased off the ball there by Gudmundsson. I think he won a goal kick. So it's a goal kick to Sweden, as Gudmundsson does well to shadow Dembele off the ball. Goal kick for Sweden. And Rabiot wins possession, gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, who's hounded by Isaac, who now sends it long. Only can find Lindelof. Lindelof does well to head it down to Gyökeres. Gyökeres tried to head it on, but Isaac was in an offside position, so France is now back in possession. Here's Saliba. Getting the ball back to Chouameni. Chouameni looking for options. Here's Kunde looking long. And could only find the head of Lagerback. Sweden now back in possession. And now the goalkeeper looks long, and he goes right back to the French goalkeeper. Early days, you can tell both teams know that they're playing in a knockout round. Sweden definitely is set up to try to play on a counter. France is playing possession football, moving the ball well. Finally balanced game here so far. I won't say it was to any surprise, but finally balanced game. Here's Kunde outright to Dembele. Closed down there by, I think that's Stroud. Ball gets out left to Barcola. Barcola into Mbappe. Mbappe gets the ball out left to Digna. Here's Digna. Gets the ball back to Rabiot. Rabiot to Mbappe. France is still probing here, trying to find a spot where they can attack. Gets the ball out right to Kunde. Kunde tries to put the ball back in one time, and it takes a deflection, and it goes out for a corner. Corner kick to France here. Heads go up. Ball gets headed out to Digna. Digna now lines up a left-footed shot. And the goalkeeper goes down smartly to make the save. He kind of made a meal of it. But he was able to recover. A little bit of a daisy cutter there. I'm looking at the World Cup, I have to think of the game in quarters now. Like normally coaches be like, survive the first 10 minutes, survive the first 15 minutes. Sweden, if they can survive the first quarter of the game, and the quarters is getting into the hydration break, then we on and cook it. Here's Gudmundsson looking long. Gets here to nobody. Ball gets back to Magnan. Magnan to Chouameni. Chouameni gets the ball inside to Elisa. Elisa turns and has nothing but yellow shirt in front of him. Gets the ball out to Kunde. Kunde gets back to Chouameni. Chouameni to Rabiot. Rabiot right in the center of the field. Gets the ball out left to Barcola. Here's Barcola sizing up Gudmundsson. Gets the ball to Mbappe. Mbappe tries a shot from 26 yards out, 28 yards out, and he's not pleased with the outcome of his shot. He was expecting a little bit better there from himself. Easily held there by the goalkeeper. And now the goalkeeper looks long, trying to get Isaac involved, and Upamecano does well just to touch it down for Chouameni, and France is back in the attack. Here's Rabiot. 10 minutes to go till the first quarter, end of the first quarter, till the hydration break. as France seems to now be looking to push their foot on the pedal. Here's Digna. Gets the ball back to Elisa. Elisa 30 yards away from goal. Gets the ball out left, out right to Kunde. Kunde gets the ball further right to Dembele. Dembele tries to cut his man, and Goodmanson does well. And here's Isaac. Gets the ball back to Goodmanson. Yakar is now off to the races, trying to turn Saliba. And Saliba, and that's what I'm telling you about Yakarez. He gets his back or gets his body between the defender and the ball, and it's hard for you to get the ball without fouling him. And he earned another foul here, another free kick for Sweden, releasing the pressure and getting a free kick midway in the French half. Now, Sweden can line up something here from the spot. Very good play there by Yakarez. Here's a free kick. Isaac and Yakarez. Danger men up top. Svensson with a kick. Gets the ball to the back post. He had an opportunity. Lagerback had an opportunity to control. A beautiful tackle there by Bergvall. Winning back possession. Ball gets in the box, and Chouameni does well to hit it out here. Ball pings ball up. Digna does well to take the ball over his shoulder. Here's Rabiot back in possession. As we can see, Graham Potter is shouting to his troops to get back in possession and get back into their shape. Here's Barcola. Gets inside of Lagerback. Now he's running at the back line. Gets inside on his left foot and puts a shot over the bar. That's the first sign of goal there for France. And Barcola was able to get inside, run at the back line. It was 1 against 5, basically. Actually, it was 1 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders, and he was able to get the ball on his favored left foot and put a dangerous shot over the bar. Big up Ty Gill. Ty Gill says Sweden has sent home a side today. Yeah, they must send home themselves. But we'll see. We'll see. The World Cup have a lot of surprises. And here's a ball in. And this is Mbappe 1-on-1. This has to be a goal. Easy. 1-0 France. And the referee now puts up the offside flag. Yeah. I thought it looked offside. Let's see. No, this is going to be close. You know what? Big up to Lindelof. Lindelof did well. That does look offside-ish. But they have to draw the line for that, though. That's how close that was. But Lindelof did, yeah, offside. But boy, it looked close. And that is how quickly France can strike. As Ty confirmed the offside. That's how quick France can strike. A bad turnover instantly turned into a breakaway. I think it's a throw-in for Sweden. Yes, throwing a Sweden right at the half line. Svensson with the ball, looking long, trying to get Yakarez. Ball don't even get to Yakarez. Heads go up. And Elisa is called for a foul on Ayari. Free kick to Sweden, right at the half line. 5 minutes left before the hydration break. No, not even 5 minutes, like 2 minutes. So Sweden has survived the first quarter. They can feel like they're in the game. But that chance a while ago that they were saved by that offside flag must be worrying. That is how much of a concentration Sweden has to hold. They have to hold as we're looking at the line here. Yeah, half time body. France in possession. Here's Dembele now falling back in the 10 position as France is now showing some dynamism to their setup as Dembele is now falling into the 10. Here's Digna. Gets the ball to Rabiot. And the ball went out for, oh, they called the hydration break. So now we're at the hydration break. End of the first quarter. You know what? This is what I've been saying. I keep saying it. And I'm gonna keep saying it until people start to agree with me. This is how the hydration break is killing the game. All right, not killing the game. This is how the hydration break is changing the game. In in football, like we used to know, 45 minutes. You have 45 minutes. A team that comes out and decide they want to play defensive will have to hold their concentration for 45 minutes at least. That is a lot. That's a lot of time to be running around chasing a game. Sweden, Paraguay, for example, came out defensive, and instead of thinking about 45 minutes to be defensive, they know they just have to be defensive for 23 minutes. Be defensively sound for 23 minutes. Plus, you know when the game starts, a team don't get out the bricks that quickly. So they need at least 5 minutes to really get going. So you really need to stay defensive for 18 minutes. Be defensive sound and concentrate for 18 minutes versus concentrating for 45 minutes. Because that 5 minutes that you need to start, that's normally the stoppage time. So it's really 45 minutes versus 18 minutes of concentration. You have a game plan that's installed. If you are lucky enough to survive to the hydration break, and let's say the game plan wasn't working, you can instantly change it now. The coaches now basically have a halftime team talk within the first half, where them can say, look, all right, we'll try for double Mbappe on the left, but him now switching to the right. Let's change up the mentality. Let's change up the fast. That's what Crambat are doing right now. So now they can now implement or adjust their system. All they have to do is survive the next 18 minutes, and by the time they look, it's halftime. So that's how the game has changed. The hydration break has actually made the game a little bit more even. Ty says, I wonder if there would be hydration breaks if the game are in Europe or South Africa. Nah, this is definitely an American imposed thing. Now them say, oh, it's a trial, and we'll see how it go. But I think I'm pretty sure Europe already came out and said they're not doing a hydration break. Champions League, we're not having a hydration break. We're not have that. Which makes sense. I mean, club football is in the winter, fall, and spring in Europe. So them don't need a hydration break. But the game changed. The way how the game has been playing right now, what we have been seeing, the way the game has been playing, it would have been a matter of time before France score. Now you basically have a restart of the game. So now you're starting over from scratch, basically. As Sweden with the throwing. So make us see who can come out now. Can France maintain their momentum? Or can Sweden force them to restart? Or can Sweden find a momentum jumpstart themselves? We'll see. As we're in the second quarter now. Chouameni get the ball out to Saliba. Saliba to Barcola, and there you go. Miscontrol. That's hydration break for you. Players have to now re-lock themselves back into the game. Here's Ayari. Ayari does well, winning another foul here midway in the French half. As Sweden can now work on something here again. Put the ball to the back post. Give yourself a chance. Nobody with a short kick. Not midway, but close to midway into the half. Put the ball to the back post one. And looks like they are definitely setting that up. Here's a Yari. Puts the ball on the platter here for Isaac. And Saliba had his head screwed out there. That was a good set play there. And Saliba did enough to put enough. He actually took some things off the shot. And it was an easy save there for the goalkeeper. But good set play there by Sweden. As that could be a chance that has gone begging. And if you are Sweden, those chances are expected to come few and far between. You want Isaac to do better with that. Here's Saliba, gets the ball out to Rabiot. Rabiot now gets it to Mbappe. Mbappe out left to Barcola. Barcola back into Mbappe. Mbappe drops the shoulder and gets by Lagerback. There's the ball out there to Dembele. Dembele now trying to get the ball into the box. Takes a deflection, and it's now a corner kick to France. And just like that, we have 15 minutes leave in the first half. The game is now flying by. Here's Dembele, chits the ball in the box. Easily headed out there, I think that by Goodmanson. Now Tchouaméni in possession in the center circle. Gets the ball out left to Rabiot. Rabiot looking for options. Gets the ball out to Digna. Digna cuts back inside. As the Swedish wall is back up. As now Barcola is now the man in the middle, with Mbappe now playing on the left wing. And like Olise and Dembele are stationed on the right wing, as France is now trying to test the concentration of the Swedish back wall. Here's Digna, gets the ball inside to Rabiot. Rabiot to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni back to Rabiot. Rabiot left to Digna. Digna now looks at further left to Barcola back on the left wing. Barcola forced to go back to Saliba, who now sends the ball out right to Koundé. One thing about France, though, they are moving the ball fast. And they are definitely probing, and Sweden is doing a good job staying locked in. Here's Digna. Now the Swedish, you see the two banks now have kind of broken down a little bit. But France wasn't able to capitalize. But Mbappe sends the ball out left to Olise. Olise now puts the ball in the box. Heads go up. Headed away there. Here's Olise back in possession, lining up a left foot shot. Instead goes to Mbappe. Mbappe gets the ball inside. Rabiot cuts, drops his shoulder, takes a shot. And the goalkeeper forced to make a kick save. And the ball takes a deflection and goes out for a corner kick. The Swedish hands went up for offside, but nah, brother. Lindelof, you had him onside. I don't know where you had him. France definitely probing, though. Here's Olise. Gets the ball into the box. Heads go up. Ball gets out to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni gets the ball out right to Koundé. Koundé back to Mbappe. Mbappe easily gets by. Gets the ball to Koundé. Can he put the ball in the box? Takes a deflection. And it's now another corner kick for France. Yeah, France is probing. France is probing. Sweden, all hands on deck for the next 15 minutes. Can they survive? Here's the corner kick. Ball into the box. Heads go up again. The Swedish head gets there first. But the ball gets back to Dembele. Dembele gets the ball inside the Koundé. Koundé puts it on a platter for Mbappe and he hits the bar. Wow. And Mbappe had an fairly open goal as Koundé put the ball right there. That cutback is dangerous. And somehow the post stood there and said, you're not getting in. That could have been 1-0. Ty says, ball game nice, another penalty shootout. Why, Ty, for this to be a penalty shootout, Sweden have to score about 2 goals. Because France is getting closer and closer and closer. Here's Mbappe. Gets into the 18, does a couple step overs, now put the ball up, takes a deflection, headed out. Look at that. France now has Sweden under siege. They are not able to release the pressure. Here's Dembele. Gets the ball to Rabiot. Stands by himself. Now look for the left footed shot, and that's a close shot just over the bar. That was close. Goalkeeper looked like he had it covered still, but you could see the Swedish players laid off of him a little bit lower, and Sweden in problems. Yo, you know, so the ball hit the inside of the post and come out. As the French fans cannot believe what they just saw. The ball hit the inside of the post and found a way to come back out. And France is now back on the hunt again. And here's France with Saliba. Get the ball to Rabiot. You know, Sweden is laying off Rabiot, and that might be to their own detriment. Look at Rabiot in possession, and everybody just lay off him. Chouameni as well. Clearly, that's a part of the game plan. Kunda has the ball, they're closing him down. Here's Dembele after playing a 1-2 with Olise. Gets the ball back to Olise. And Olise easily steps by his man. Has 3 yellow shirts to look at. And Chouameni chops down Gyökeres. Boy, this is Gyökeres at his best. Gyökeres, this is like the 4th foul Gyökeres has earned. As Sweden now sends the ball long and easily gets back to France, as France will be coming back again at Sweden again in the next couple of seconds. Here's Rabiot. Gets the ball quickly to Mbappe. Mbappe now running on the back line. Tries to get the ball into Barcola. Ball takes a deflection. Here's Olise on a bicycle kick off the post again. And Dembele kicking far right. Mid backside. Wow. As Olise tried a scissors kick, hit the post, the ball went back to Dembele, who sent it wide. Why, that would have been another goal of the World Cup. And that wasn't miles off from Dembele either. Here's Isaac. Here's Ilanga. Puts the ball inside of Isaac, tries to flick it on. And the ball goes through him and everybody else. And it goes out for, and did it take a deflection off Upamecano? Yes, it did. It must have. Must have taken a deflection off Upamecano. No, it went right through. Went right through. That could have gone anywhere. Sweden is saying, you know what? If this one to play for to me, we're going to play ball. And Lindelof crunches into Olise, and a free kick for France midway in the Swedish half. As Lindelof miscontrolled the ball. He's a very lucky man. He's a very lucky man. Very lucky man. As Lindelof checks on Olisa. Looking at the replay again. He got every stitch of that ball. And the follow up by Dembele. Wow. Wow. You know what? Sweden better be careful, because all it takes is one, and you might have floodgates. Here's Upamecano. It's the ball to Dembele. Just in the Swedish half, goes all the way back to Chouameni. Chouameni now gets the ball out left to Saliba. Saliba further left to Digna. Digna now looks for Mbappe in the middle. Mbappe chopped down by Bergvall. And it's now a free kick. Free kick to France. Bergvall was a little bit too ambitious going in there. Here's Olisa lighting up a free kick from about 6 yards left of the throw line. Puts the ball, heads going up. Upamecano won it, but headed it just wide. Here's Saliba. With Gyökeres again doing the yeoman's work, keeping his body between Saliba and the ball. Actually, that's not Gyökeres, that's Stroud. But he wins a free kick. As Upamecano and Saliba is not happy with that call. A long kick out here, heads go up. Rabiot wins it. Ball gets out to Olisa. Olisa now gets it back to Rabiot. This is where France can be dangerous. Gets the ball to Mbappe. Mbappe tries a long shot, but goes straight to the middle. And Zetterstrom is very happy that he doesn't have to do much diving on that one. France getting closer, but I think they need to calm down a little bit. The players, they look a little bit too juiced up. A little bit. Rabiot goes in late for a tackle there. Like he takes down, I think that's Bergvall, right? Yeah. And now Sweden with a free kick. Midway in the French half. 5 minutes left till halftime. As Ayari lines this up. Can they create something off this free kick? Ball goes in. It's all the way to the back, and Koundé just let it roll, and now Koundé in possession. Here's Olisa, tries to touch it on and runs the ball out for a throw into Sweden. Sweden looking long. Olisa easily takes the ball away here. Now Olisa looking to start a French counterattack. Here's the ball to Mbappe. Running at the back line is 3 against 4. Now he gets the ball out to Barcola. Barcola has Dembele in the middle, put the ball back. And a simple touch there, but ball gets back to Olisa. Olisa now lines up a left foot shot. And the goalkeeper was interested. Ball goes wide. Out for a goal kick. Telling you, France, it's just going to take one. They end up going fairly wide. But the goalkeeper had to dive because he was put off by his two defenders as Olisa tried to put it around the defenders. Here's Upamecano does well, gets the ball to Saliba. Saliba now gets the ball to Rabiot. As the game now is starting to become a little bit stretched, as the Swedish teams, their two back of four are easily stretching now. As Barcola wins, it looks like a corner kick or maybe a deep throwing as Svensson took the ball off his foot and goes out for a corner for France. I think this is probably France's fourth or fifth corner. The French fans are in high voice as they can feel it. I think the French fans can feel it. Sweden is fine the points as long as the game stays 0-0. But they have to survive this. Here's Olisa with the corner. Gets the ball. Heads go up. Ball on goes all the way to Dembele. Dembele now to Kunde. Kunde gets the ball out right to Dembele. Tries to play the ball to feet in the 18 and is easily. Ty said Olisa make him believe in artistry again. Yeah. Olisa, I agree. Olisa is one of those footballers that he brings that real skill element. That is not unorthodox, but you don't know what to expect. Here's Kunde, gets the ball inside and tries to shoot. Look just like a defender there. Pass the ball to somebody who can shoot, brother. Here's Sweden trying to break on the counter, but Upamecano is there to shepherd the ball away from Isaac. And Jan gets the ball to Rabiot. Rabiot gets the ball out left to Digna. Here's Chouameni. Chouameni gets the ball out to Kunde. Kunde now to Mbappe. Mbappe out left to Olisa. Goodmanson looks so scared when Olisa have the ball. Yeah, Olisa is feeling it. Yep. Here's Olisa, a shot from outside, and another one's touched wide for the goalkeeper. You could tell, based on that Fandango's pass he did to Mbappe, I could tell he was feeling the vibe. And that was going into the far corner. Fingertip save, another corner kick. Here's Dembele, gets the ball into Mbappe. France feeling the chance here. There you go. There you go. Kylian Mbappe. Goal. Gets into the 18. It was coming. It was coming. It's 1-0 to France. As Mbappe goes over to his coach, Deschamps. As we know, Didier Deschamps lost his mom and had to leave the team for the third game to go and bury her. And you know what? I'm about to fire upon FIFA, you know, because the French players wanted to wear a black armband to represent or to represent for their coach who had to go and attend his mother's funeral, and FIFA denied them. And that reaction says it all. Dembele did a quick corner to Olisa. Olisa back to Dembele. Dembele get it to Mbappe. Mbappe just did the rest. The Swedish wall has been cracked. They have been resolute, but it has been cracked. Ty says Olisa is a young version of Rivaldo. I think the best attacking midfielder in the World Cup. Young Rivaldo, yes. Best attacking midfielder in the World Cup. Yeah, I can't think. It's a France gone with the World Cup. Yeah, man, France. This is France. It's France World Cup to lose. That's a good. Hey, best midfielder in the World Cup. Here's Elanga. Oh, they set the ball on the plate. Can France Sweden score? No. Elanga did well, put the cross to the back post. All he needed was one of his strikers to just touch it. It looked like Kunde got there in front of Yakares. The ball got back to Stroud, and Stroud just sent it high and wide. Why am I trying to think about the comment from Tyno? Is there a midfielder that is playing better than Is there a midfielder playing better than Olise? As Sweden in possession, Elanga tries to get by Digna. Digna does well. And here's Elanga gets into the 18-yard box. He's pulled down, and the referee now puts up his hand for offside. Elanga wanted a penalty, but referee called offside. As Svensson was clearly offside. Clearly offside, Svensson. If he had make it back in time, that would have been an interest. Nah, he was actually pulled down before the 18 too. Yeah, but still I try to think about as I think we reach halftime though. Should reach halftime, I think. Right half ref. We reach 3 minutes halftime, man. Like you want Sweden get another goal score upon them. But still I think about a comment there, you know. For a name brand team, as we are now at halftime. We're now at halftime. France leading 1-0 at the half. I saw you go Sweden. I play some ball still, but I play some ball, but I try. You know what? The comment from Ty kind of puzzle me a little bit. Because I don't really want to jump and say, yeah, I'm the best midfielder, but it's kind of hard to think about an attacking midfielder that's playing better than Olise right now. I look through the side them. You know what, this is the reason why, and it just hit me why. It hit me why, but I'm puzzled with the question, with the comment. Messi is a midfielder. Messi is playing as an attacking midfield. I think Messi is having a better World Cup than Olise. Granted, Olise played against better teams, but I think Messi product. And Messi, you know what? We'll take the legend out of the comment. All right, we'll take Messi's at the twilight of his career. For the future of football, Olise is the best midfielder. Yeah. I get that. Olise is the best attacking midfielder in the World Cup. Looking forward. But I think Messi have it over him right now. Right now, I think Messi will play some ball. Messi all attack. Messi is not a striker. He's not a winger. He's an attacking midfielder. So I'm going to give it to Messi, but that's a default answer. When you comment about being a modern day Rivaldo, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Because Rivaldo is a youth. Rivaldo is a youth who never even want to use the right foot. Olise don't want to use the right foot. Everybody knows that Olise left-footed and play primarily left-footed, but them can't stop him. And him left foot deadly. Deadly. You can't run up on him too hard. So yeah, I agree. Oli says there. You know who I think having a surprising World Cup too? Bruno Guimaraes. I think Bruno Guimaraes. I think Bruno Guimaraes is having a very good World Cup. And you want me to tell you why I think Bruno G is having such a great World Cup? I mean, I really want to switch the conversation to Brazil, but I think Bruno G is having a great World Cup because of the presence of Casemiro. And I think to kind of angle it back to France, I think France looks the way they look because of Chouameni and Rabiot in the middle. Chouameni and Rabiot. I was always saying Kante for play. But I don't think Kante would really fit with this French team right now because them have two basically box-to-box players. So Deschamps is basically playing a traditional 4-4-2. Let me put it this way. Deschamps is playing with France, playing with a traditional 4-4-2 midfield. The two midfielders are two box-to-box midfielders. They alternate well, they rotate well with each other, and they fit so well. That's something where Argentina have to. Argentina have that as well with McAllister and Enzo Fernandez. These engines in the World Cup, and I can't wait to see Argentina play against France. I really hope we get that. The only way that can happen is if they play in the finals. I would say Brazil's Bruno G and Casemiro would have provided some competition too, but the goals that Brazil give up is coming straight from the middle of the field. So them Brazil midfield can't compare to France or Argentina. But what I'm seeing from France in this game, Sweden holds some level of threat. They have been threatening when they can, right? Gyökeres to me has been very impressive in terms of keeping the body between the ball and the defender and putting a real shift up top. Gyökeres is putting in the work. And I think Isaac need to step up to the plate a little bit more. It's a tough ask because Isaac is being asked to play off the left wing. Right? I don't know why Potter decided to go 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. I don't know why. Put Isaac and Gyökeres up top. I mean, the two of them stand up as traditional front two forward like it did in the first game. That's what they did against Netherlands and gave Netherlands problem. That's what Sweden should be doing and giving Saliba and Upamecano. Your best chance against them is isolating them one-on-one. And what I am seeing is that them rotating them, Gyökeres and Isaac, at the back line instead of setting them up together. I get it, Ilanga cannot play in the 10. I get it. He has to play on the wing. You have to trust your midfield. But Gyökeres and Isaac, they've been too isolated in this game. And Chouameni and Rabiot are just cleaning up everything in the midfield. Ayari and Bergvall are doing well, putting up a resistance. They are doing well tracking back and trying to keep the French front four from being that much potent. However, they are not affecting the game from the midfield. I think that is the game. I really think that is the game. You're too concerned about the French front four that you give up the midfield. And when you give up the midfield, you basically give up any chance of you countering. So now you end up having to bypass the midfield, trying to get the ball up to Gyökeres quick. But Gyökeres put his body between the ball and the defender. but there's nobody running off of him because either Ilanga is on the opposite side of the field or Isaac is not close. You need to put Isaac and Gyökeres close to each other and let Isaac run off Gyökeres. Then you might have a chance. But Sweden did create a couple chances. Ilanga did put the ball to the back post. Kunde did well getting in front of Gyökeres. And I think Stroud was the one that put it wide after that. That happened right after the goal. France could have been up 3-4 right now. Mbappe hit the upright. Olise tried a rotted bicycle kick, hit the upright. When the ball went to Dembele, Dembele tried to one time it to the far post and missed it inches wide. Olise had a couple shots that the goalkeeper had to get down and make some good saves. So it could have been a lot worse scoreline, while Sweden could feel like they are in the game. They had their opportunities as well. Isaac had that one. I keep calling him Isaac. Is it Isaac or Isaac? Because of Isaac. Isaac had that one chance when they had the free kick and they run that set play. And Isaac had not the one-on-one, but he had Ope Makano for company and tried to do the snapshot. And Ope Makano took something off the ball and went to the goalkeeper. So there were chances there for Sweden. And Sweden can feel like, you know what? I know France is a big side, but I am creating my chances. It's all to play for. All to play for. And the third quarter is big. It's big. Because now, the question now coming out in the second half is, I don't think France really cares. I think France is going to play the way France play. I think it now comes down to Sweden. Is it try to get to the hydration break with it only being 1-0 and see if you can nick a goal by then, and then you're going to the fourth quarter, you go balls to the wall. Is that the plan, or do they try to chase the game from start? Because Sweden clearly playing with basically a back 10. They put up a wall and they've been trying to be resolute defensively. If they try to extend and try to hunt this goal early, they can blink and be down 3-4-0 easily in the next 10 minutes, in the first 10 minutes of the second half. It can get that ugly that quick. So now the question now becomes, do Sweden try to stay compact, try to stay resolute, get to the hydration break, and then you go all attack? Or do you try to chase the game now? Those are the things. That's a change now in football, you know. That's a change in football. And if I was a coach with hydration break, if I was Graham Potter, that would be my plan. My plan would be we got to end of the first half only down 1. Let us try to stick to the game plan. We almost scored. We created a couple chances. Let's stick to the game plan. If we don't score by the hydration break, we'll take the last 20 minutes and go at them. Because at that point, if you lose 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, it doesn't matter. You're out of the World Cup. Right? But get to the last 20 minutes. Only down 1, and let us ride our luck. That would be my plan. That would be my plan. That would be my plan. That's how I would approach a game. You guys tell me how you would approach it. But that would be my approach. I would definitely be thinking, get to the hydration break. Ty says, fire with fire against France. You can't give the man them free roaming at the midfield and not shoot back. Yeah, but if you go fire with France, right? And that I would think fire with fire would mean that is a formation change. Because right now, you know, Sweden basically playing with a back 7. I said back 10 earlier, but Ilanga, Isaac, and Gyökeres are their only attacking-minded options right now. Svensson and Stroud have no business getting past half line, Ayari and Bergval are just trying to be midfield destroyers, right? So that's their two banks. If you try to go fire with fire, you have to either change the formation and make some form of a attacking change and push the line up a little bit. And you push the line up. If you increase the space between your back line and your goalkeeper, you're just increasing the hunting grounds for Mbappe. And we saw when they almost had that, yeah, we saw when they almost had that breakaway and it was called for offside and Mbappe scored. And it was called back for offside. You see how quickly he got the ball and it was just one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So it's a tough call. Tyson, I suggested a formation change with Isaac and Gyökeres. Yeah, but I wouldn't do that change now. I would do that change. I would hope we survive to the hydration break. Get to the hydration break. Then I'm putting Gyökeres and Isaac together up top. And then you see the problem is Ilanga. The problem is Ilanga. And actually, this is what the problem is for Sweden, in my opinion. The problem with Sweden is they don't have that baller that is in the middle of the field that will stand up and look at Chouameni and Rabiot and say, we're going to play midfield together. They don't have a midfielder that has the balls to stand up in the middle of the midfield, in the middle of the field, and look at Rabiot and Chouameni. That is a problem to me. That is a problem. Is there a midfielder that has some kahunas as we're getting ready for the second half kickoff? Make we see. Let us see how this work out. But yeah, I want to make a change. It looked like Potter did not make any changes. As we're about to have kickoff, France will be kicking from left to right, Sweden going from right to left. And we have kickoff. And what do you think about this damn kickoff thing to where the team that is kicking off the ball kick the ball out for a throw-in for the other team deep in their half? I hate to see it. I think Ivory Coast do it too. Ivory Coast kick the ball off and just kick it out for a throw-in. Why you gonna have possession of the ball and give it back to the other team? This don't make any sense. But Sweden with a throw-in. I get it, you want to set up your press and win the ball higher up. But have some courage, man. Get the ball and dribble up yourself, man. That's the thing with modern day football, you know. Because you give Sweden the ball and see that Sweden bear the press and get up, and now Sweden have a throw-in deep in your half. When you could have been in possession of the ball, passing the ball around and get your players back in the vibe right now. So now you're now forced to defend a deep throw, because this brother look for do a deep throw in. So you're now forced to defend a deep throw in the box within the first minute or second half, when you have the ball first. That's stupidness, man. Deep throw, heads go up, Saliba wins it. I hate to see it. I hate to see that. I don't know. They make a coach an idiot, man. When you play ball, when a coach is a boy, you treat the ball like a melon. You share the melon with your teammates. You don't give the other team the melon. And you instantly, the first thing you do when you get possession of the ball is give it right back to the other team. Football get dumb. Anyway, free kick to France. Sweden back in possession. It looked like Sweden made a formation change. They're in a back four a while ago. Ilanga tries to play the ball on. Lost possession. Here's Olise. Olise running at the back line, gets the ball out right to Dembele. Dembele now gets the ball to Kunde. Kunde gets the ball to Mbappe. Mbappe loses possession. And ball gets back to Upamecano, who has Isaac for company. All right, look at Isaac now. You see now, Isaac is now up beside Gyökeres. Yes, I think they made that change. See, Isaac and Gyökeres now basically walking side by side, and see Sweden now in a back four. I see clear four midfielders. They're now in a 4-4-2. So Sweden now in a 4-4-2. Finally, there's Isaac playing high, pressing the ball high. So they're now in the 4-4-2. That's the change that they have made. They have made that tactical change. Here's Barcola. Has Vincent for company. Does well with a slight tackle and the ball goes out for a throw-in right at the corner flag for France. All right, so Graham Potter decided that he's going to roll the dice early. Made the change, the tactical change. So now Isaac now being the target man. And Gyökeres, yeah. So clearly, there's the indication. They're now playing 4-4-2. Let's see how France handle the 4-4-2. As Saliba is the furthest man up top. Actually, no. That's Barcola. Sorry. Here's Digna gets the ball to Chouameni. Chouameni now gets the ball out right to Kunde. Kunde back to Upamecano. Upamecano gets the ball out left to Digna. All right, so Sweden has now given France something else to look at. Here's Chouameni lining up a long shot. And I'll send it over the bar. So looking at the Mbappe goal again. Well placed. Well placed. That's a striker's goal. 100% a striker's goal. No big kick, no big swipe through. Just place the ball. As Haaland and Mbappe now on 5 goals. Messi leading the pack with 6 goals. And I want to say Mbappe is 2 behind Messi all time, I think. Or maybe he's 1 behind Messi all time now. Or maybe he's back to 2, one of them. But all-time World Cup goals. That Messi just broke the record this year. Mbappe is only 2 or 3 behind. I think it's 2 now. And Mbappe has at least 2 more World Cups in him, in his prime. Here's Olisa looking long for Dembele. Dembele on the right wing, gets the ball inside. And Kunde tries to pull it back for Olisa. But easily cut out there by Sweden. And Olisa gets back possession. Gets the ball to Dembele. Dembele tries to roll the ball into Mbappe. And he's called for an offside. So, there you go. Sweden made a change to 4-4-2. The spaces are opening up now in the midfield. That's what we're talking about. So you can see now France is now finding those intricate passes in between the lines because there's just less bodies in the spaces. So that's the tactics of football right now. And that Sweden saying, you know what? Whether we lose 3-0, 4-0, 1-0 is still a loss. So they are hunting a goal. Here's Chouameni. And look at the midfield. Look how open the midfield. Look at Olise. Ball gets inside. And this should be 2. It is 2. And that is Barcola. There you go. Barcola with the second goal. And I just said it. It's literally just said it. The lines are too open. You change the formation this early, and I said it right in the halftime. You change the formation this early, by the time you blink, it could be 3-4 love within 10 minutes of the second half. And that's what we're looking at right now. Because now, Sweden cannot revert back to the defensive shape. So now it is just, let's all take a bus ass. Now it's balls to the wall. Now it's fire with fire. Big up Benton. Benton saying up, 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 up. See that tie? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You do this, you open yourself to a world of hurt. Me as a coach, I would rather wait until the last, right after the hydration break, to give myself a chance by changing the formation. You change the formation, you open the door. You open in the door. This can get ugly. 2-0 France as Lindelof tries to rally the troops, but you can't blame him. I really can't blame him for trying. Talking about Potter to make that, but I it's a tough decision, but I would rather wait until the last 10-15 minutes and give myself a chance. Because one thing about France, they're not going to sit back. France not sitting back. And Mbappe has in the back of his mind he wants that golden boot. I can tell him that right now. So Sweden looks shell-shocked. Do remember, hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so as yet. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. World Cup, round of 32. Little more from now, we have Mexico versus Ecuador. And that's going to be another hot game. Can Mexico join their co-hosts Canada into the round of 16? Isaac tries a touch on there. Yes, Sweden now, they're now forced to play higher up. So all France is going to do now is just sit back and just pick them off one by one. Here's Elanga. If Sweden get a goal now, if Sweden can find a way to get a goal right now, it can make it interesting. Because then France will now be in a precarious position in how they approach the game. So, can Sweden get a goal as they have a corner kick right now? I don't think they didn't make any substitutions. A lot of jostling going on in the 18-yard box. Bergvall, a lot of pushing. Why, you can't see the Arsenal. Here's the corner kick. And after all of that, goal kick. But you can see the Arsenal influence on Sweden. I don't remember the name again. I can't remember my name. Who am I going to go prison? Snoop Dogg girlfriend. That's your name. I have to look her up. I don't know why I can't remember her name. Anyway, football I deal with. Sweden in possession. Ball goes all the way back. The French goalkeeper who gets the ball to Rabiot. Here's Rabiot in possession. Gets the ball out right to Upamecano. Upamecano gets inside to Olise. Look at that. Look how easy Olise get the ball and can just weave him way out of traffic and turn him way around. Gets the ball to Dembele. Elise gets, yeah, see, look at the spaces is opening up now. Look at that. Throw a minute to Dembele as they now play, keeps his, I have Sweden chasing shadows. And Olisa mercifully sends the ball back to his goalkeeper, gets the ball out to Saliba. Slurby gets the ball inside to Mbappe. Mbappe gets it back to Digna. Digna gets the ball inside to Dembele. Dembele to Mbappe as France is now toying with Sweden. Sweden tried to press, and France easily break the press and just walking the ball down to the Swedish end line. Here's Olisa, gets the ball into the 18 to Kunde. Kunde gets the ball across and just rolls it to the goalkeeper. Sweden very lucky there as France almost had about a 30 pass goal. Winner of this game plays against Paraguay. Probably the surprise of the World Cup so far. Paraguay defeated Germany yesterday in an exciting penalty shootout. I don't think Morocco defeated Netherlands yesterday in one of those weird penalty shootouts as well. I don't think that was an upset. I think, like we talked about yesterday, at best is two even teams. And Morocco found a way to win. Ball into the box. Here's Yacares. Has both Upamecano and Saliba for company, and now he falls over. So, Yacares, you have your body in between the ball and the man. Yeah, Upamecano slap the man in the face. Yeah, Upamecano karate chop the man in the face. I apologize, Yacares. But we play on. They're looking around. Is Yacares still down? Referees waving him on, saying him don't care. But here's a poor pass here as can Sweden capitalize now? As Chouameni is there. Like we said earlier, Chouameni and Rabiot are just massing the midfield. I think this is Barcola. Here's Barcola. And you know what we talk about Barcola, how Barcola kind of complement Dembele and Olise, you know. I think that's something that is kind of going unspoken. But Barcola complements the higher profile. And here's Mbappe trying to get the ball into Rabiot. Rabiot gets the ball back to Kunde to Dembele to Olise, lining up that left foot shot. And another good save by the goalkeeper, forced to push it wide. And it's another corner kick for France. I think that was definitely one save for the cameras. That's definitely a camera-worthy save. Good save, though. Good save. He had to go, not full extension, but he had to get down to his right smartly and push it. Corner kick to France. Ball gets in, heads go up. I think that's Yacares heading the ball out. Isaac heading it to no man's land. And here's France back in possession. As Mbappe mercifully passed the ball. As Yacares looked scared a while ago, boy. But here's Mbappe again. With Yacares for company. Gets the ball inside. Gets it to Dembele. Dembele back to Chouameni. Chouameni to Kunde. Kunde back to Upamecano. Upamecano inside to Rabiot. Rabiot to Mbappe. Rabiot gets the ball out further out left to Barcola. Back to Digna. And here's one of those passing stretches again for France. I've lost count, but they've probably gone about 20 by now. Let's see what it comes out to be. Here's Barcola. Back inside to Mbappe. Mbappe to Olise. Olise out to Digna. Digna thought about crossing the ball. There's no blue shirts in the 18-yard box as France seems like they just want to pass the ball all the way to the water break. Here's Mbappe sending out right to Dembele. Dembele gets the ball inside to Kunde. Kunde gets the ball back to Dembele. Easily at 40 passes now. And Dembele gets the ball in, and the ball rolled to the goalkeeper as Olise was cut off on his way to try and get a touch on it. And now Sweden in possession. Why Sweden look like them reserved to them fate. Sweden look like they understand there's levels to this World Cup and them World Cup done. And they can enjoy the win against Netherlands and just go home. That's the vibe I'm getting from Sweden right now. You're only down 2-0. No substitutions as yet. No change. No change in mentality. No change in energy. It's like they just want to just get the game over with. Here's Lindelof. Gets the ball out left to Goodmanson. Goodmanson to Stroud. Stroud back to Goodmanson. Goodmanson back to Lindelof. Bergvall made a run in. Well, that's Ayari make a run in. Here's Bergvall in possession. Gets the ball out right to Laberlek. Laberlek to Svensson. Or to Ilanga. Ilanga back to Lagerbeck. Ball ping balls around, but it gets back to Elanga. Here's Gyökeres doing some good hold-up play. Elanga unfortunately couldn't get around. But now here is thing that Olise has a lot of space in front of him. And Olise into the 18-yard box. And another save. As the defender deflects it out and it goes for another corner. But you saw, look, just that's what I'm talking about. Look at the space. Look, you have so much. If you create that much more space between your back line and the goalkeeper, that's just more hunting grounds for France. As France, as I guess, as Sweden now makes two substitutions as they take off Bergvall and Stroud, and they put on Zanelli and Ali. And they're breaking a cardinal sin, a rule in football. Don't make a substitution when you're defending a corner. Here's Olise puts the ball into the box. And the goalkeeper was able to get his fingertips on it. But the ball's back to Kunde. Gets the ball inside. Touches down for Upamecano. And I think it's an offside. Offside was called. But play on is called as here's Elanga. Gets the ball out to Isaac. Poor touch there by Alexander Isaac. You have to do better than that. Here's Goodmanson. Ball left to Ali. Ali won't put himself in problems, but he gets around Kunde. Now gets the ball into Isaac. Can he find Gyökeres? Try to cross the ball and think that it just enough to put him off there as Ali showed some use a little bit. Go ahead and make these substitution changes real quick. Ali is definitely more attacking minded. So clearly they're trying to put on more wit. Talking about Graham Potter and Sweden. As we are now in the hydration break. Look how quick we get the hydration break, man. We're now in the hydration break. This is where we are. This is the thing I was saying earlier. I was Sweden. I would hope to get to here only being down 1-0. But as it will hold, they're down 2-0. So Sweden down 2-0, entering into the last quarter of the game. And for those who are new to the stream or new to the live, we're joking about this hydration break. It's basically like quarters in basketball. That's what it is. It break the games up into 4 quarters. So we're now in the fourth quarter. From a Sweden perspective, I think the hope was you get to here only down 1-0. You make your attacking substitutions like you've done now, putting on Ali and putting on Zanelli, and you go chase that equalizing goal. Unfortunately, they're down 2. But they still have to go chase the goal. They still need to score, and you need to score at least 1. So let's go get the first goal if you are coming from a Sweden perspective. France, they just want to get the game over with. The sooner the better. We're in the hydration break. France still yet to make a substitution. That's how calm and easy they are. As they're coming back from the hydration break. Do remember, coming up this evening at 9 p.m., it's going to be Mexico versus Ecuador. Yeah, who that? Wow. So, cameraman, you go from. You know what? Let me not say anything. The cameraman is showing the diversity in the crowd. Put it that way. Throwing to Sweden deep in the French half. Can they get a goal here and make it more interesting? Heads go up. But ball cleared by Saliba. Here's Olisa in possession. And now Dembele gets the ball to Mbappe. Mbappe looks inside for Olisa. This must be 3. And another save by the goalkeeper. You know, the goalkeeper is having a very good game. Considered. I think the whole world was just. I was reserved. I was ready to start. I was ready to update the score and say 3-0. But the goalkeeper had other plans. Ball gets out right. Set up top for by Digna, and now Sweden in possession. Gets the ball out left, trying to get Ali, giving width, running at Kunde. I said it earlier. If there's a weakness or an area of weakness for France, it's at the right back with Kunde. Kunde did well though, winning a goal kick for France, and they send it long, and the ball goes right back to Sweden. As now, France is back to being defensive. We are back to having to defend. Here's Lindelof out left to Goodmanson. Goodmanson out to Ali. Ali back to Goodmanson. Looking long for Isaac. Heads go up. He wins the header, but it's called a handball. And France will now earn a free kick. They're looking at the replay again to see who touched the ball last. And that should have been a corner to Sweden. I thought VAR could make corner calls now. Or is that coming up in the club season? That's a good ball there by Olise. And a beautiful finish by Mbappe. And there it is. Kylian Mbappe, now joint leader for the Golden Boot. It's now 3-0. I'm telling you, that man has Golden Boot plans. I don't think he's done scoring either. The only thing that's going to stop him from scoring anymore is a substitution. But Mbappe is not done scoring. Three zero. You know what? Sweden, I bet on a pack it up. And Paraguay next, I bet on a pack it up even more. Two goals for Mbappe, one for Barcola. Dembele and Olise must be hungry. They must be feeling for a goal. As we're looking at the offside line here, and Lindelof again, the second time Lindelof kept somebody onside. Benton says Potter can return to English football after this World Cup exit. Maybe he will coach Man United in 2 years. Shut up. I don't know why you bring up Potter to the Empire. Stop it. Here's Sweden, definitely a defeated bunch. Definitely a defeated bunch. Here's Ayari in possession. Mbappe is hunting that hat-trick. Zanelli had Bergvall there, or Svensson, but didn't use him. Here's Elanga, gets the ball inside. And another turnover there, but Sweden was there to pick it up. Here's Ali. Trying to go at... is that Kunde? Is that Kunde? Or, wait, France made a substitution? I guess they did. But here's Barcola running. Mbappe thinking about the hat-trick. Here's Olise. Gets the ball over. And this... Ooh. Woo. Yeah, it look like France made some substitutions. It look like Dembele is also off. Looks like Kunde is off. Yeah, Kunde is off. And I think Dembele is off. So right when I said that Kunde could be the weak fence, Deschamps, you see, that's Deschamps, Deschamps is a player's coach or a player's mentality coach. He plays with his eyes. He coaches with his eyes. Kunde was struggling against Ali. Take him off. Ali came on and got the best of Kunde. Deschamps said, all right, Kunde, come sit down. So Due is on for Dembele and Gusto is on for Kunde. Here's Saliba to Chouameni. Chouameni bundled over from behind. Free kick to France. As look like France is making another substitution, and like Saliba is coming off. No, Digne is coming off, and Theo Hernandez is coming on. So both wing backs have been called off now by the Shams. Go ahead and put the substitutes in real quick. So you got Dembele, Kunde, and Digna. Making some substitutions here, people. Hopefully I don't miss something. And no chances are going to miss something. So Hernandez is on. Hernandez. You know, earlier I was wondering about Theo Hernandez when I said Kunde was struggling. There we go. Substitutions made. Also, so far as a fairly clean game, I don't think there hasn't been any yellow cards. There were some tough infractions though. There hasn't been any yellow cards as yet. Here's Gusto. There's the ball out left to do it. Do it back to Gusto. Gusto back to Upamecano. Upamecano back to Saliba. Saliba out left to Hernandez. Hernandez to Chouameni. A good touch there by Olisa to get to Gusto. Here's Due. Due gets inside of the defenders. Only has Gusto over company. And now goes on his right foot with a snapshot there. The goalkeeper, I mean, an easy save, but still. You have a record 5 million fans at the World Cup. See, we talked about that as well. I mean, it would be more fans at the World Cup now because there's more teams. But with all of the geopolitics around the World Cup, it wouldn't hurt the turnout. It wouldn't hurt the turnout. Here's Olisa. Oh, puts the ball in, but Rabiot did not have the legs to get to it. Here's Elanga. Can Sweden find a consolation here in the 80th minute? Puts the ball inside. Isaac should have done better with that. Isaac should have done better with that. But here's France coming right back at you. Here's Theo Hernandez. It's the ball out left to Barcola. Barcola has Mbappe there. Oh, cuts and left. 2 man on the ground. This could be 4. And another save for the goalkeeper. Another save after Barcola chopped 2 Swedish defenders. Good God Almighty. Svensson and Lagerbeck left on the ground and Lagerbeck pulling and could have been. I mean, Svensson was pulling and could have been. If Barcola had fallen over, it would have been easily been a penalty. Sweden makes 2 more substitutions. I guess some man some World Cup experience. 10 minutes plus or 9 minutes plus stoppage time left. About 13 minutes left in the game. Here's Olisa. Heads go up. Ball's headed out by Sweden. And here's Gusto in possession. Gets the ball all the way back to Saliba. I have a madman in the group. Man said France playing well, but Paraguay might worry them. Somebody is a bad man. Both Paraguay might worry France. Big up BM. BM says, greetings, Balchak. Sweden looking like they just want to be put out their misery. Who saw the cut from Barcola too? Yeah, man. Barcola chopped 2 man out of time shoes, man. Here then Mbappe sends the ball out left, trying to get Due. A little bit too long there, and it goes out. Or that was Olisa. Ball goes out for a goal kick as Mbappe's day is done. As he now brings over the captain armband, gives it to Chouameni. Interesting, instead of Rabiot. Interesting. And both Mbappe and Olisa are being called off here. Mercifully called off the two lethal players on the day, Mbappe and Olisa. But guess what? He run into Mateta and Cherky. Well, not Mateta, but he run into Cherky. And we know Cherky. You put Cherky on when you're up 3-0, you're liable to see some fandangles. And you're liable to see some embarrassing stuff. So that's what I'm watching for in the next 10 minutes. Let's see if Ryan Cherky do something that make Pep Guardiola head hurt him, even though he's not coaching him right now. Free kick to Sweden, midway in the French half. We're looking at the goal again to see the offside, and Mbappe was onside by a hair. So BM says Mbappe wanted to try and equal the record. He doesn't look happy coming off. Well, he'll have more time for chances to equal the record. He'll be all right. And he doesn't look like a guy. He's sitting on the bench, we're looking at him. He doesn't look like the guy is angry that he's coming off. He did his job. Well, you know, the Messi fan them now because they're both now tied on 6 goals. Thankfully, Messi have easy games coming up. We're looking at the goal again here. A beautiful ball by Olisa. I think Olisa had 2 assists. 2 of the goals are assists by Olisa. Olisa having a great World Cup. And Ty said it earlier. And we're removing Messi out of the running as a legend. We don't put the legend with the up and coming. Olisa has been the best attacking midfielder in the World Cup after Messi. As the Shams bowing down to, and yes, you know the whole internet is going to go crazy about that now. All the Messi fans them will come out now. See, Mbappe is a dictator. You have the coach worshiping him. Blah blah blah. Watch it. Well, I guarantee. Let me look. Let me check the group chat. I bet you that I'll put that in the group chat. Watch. Give it that in a minute. Here's Barcola. And here's Cherky, but they called for our offside. Let's show the goal graphic. Mbappe, Messi, Haaland, 665. They have definitely showed up this World Cup. Definitely showed up this World Cup. See, there goes BM. Mbappe Putin. Never fails, boy. Look at David Trezeguet. David Trezeguet. Ah, I would say one of the most unfortunate strikers in the world ever. David Trezeguet. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, look up David Trezeguet and his career. And talk about more, especially, but this must be a goal for Yacares. And a good save there by the goalkeeper. But Trezeguet just banned too early or too late. And that hurt his career because he came around in a time when football was changing from two strikers to single striker. And I think the French coach at the time, who was the French coach again? I'm looking dead at him face right now, and I don't know why the name's slipping me. But the French coach at the time said that he couldn't play Trezeguet and Henry together because they were too similar. And that's the reason why Trezeguet never get a lot of game. Because, Henry is a bigger striker. But Trezeguet was always just as potent, in my opinion. But France refused to play two of them together because they were too much alike. That was when football started to change. He had a single striker. That's when football went from two center forwards to a striker. The game kind of petered out. Now the ref can blow it off, It don't make sense to make the play no more. At the 90th minute, should be about 3-4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes of extra time. Throw into Sweden. As looking at the round of 16 setups, France will be playing against Paraguay. And big up Donald. Donald said that France might have problem against Paraguay. I think he's hoping more than anything. I was to be honest, let us wait for them blow off the game. Blow off the game, ref. BM says Trezeguet scored 34 goals from 71 appearances for France. Yeah, but they refused to play him and Henry together. Never forget it. Refuse to play him and Henry together. Here's Mateta with a chance. A foot shot over the bar. As Dewey. Look at that. Dewey to Mateta. And that's coming off the bench. You have Ryan Cherky on the field. You talk about embarrassment of riches, boy. Right now it's all about can Sweden find a consolation goal? Make we see. People, do remember hit the like and subscribe button, Soon take ourselves. I'll be back on again in a couple of hours for the Mexico versus Ecuador game. I have Ecuador winning that game. I think Ecuador has something for them. I could be wrong, but I have Ecuador winning that game. We'll see. Here's France in possession. Here's Turkey. Fandango's incoming. And Turkey tried to pass the ball into Due, and the ball got cut out there by the Swedish defender. Here's Ali taking Turkey on a run down the left wing. And Turkey say, you know what? We're done running, man. Take a foul. and the Shams have him hand in their face. The Shams had his head in his hands. And I know that look by the Shams is saying, I see why Pep running way now. Yes, BM. BM says Ecuador 1, Mexico 0. USA and Mexico are overrated. Yeah. But that home field advantage, Joe. That home field advantage. And that's why Canada can feel a little bit slighted, because Canada will be playing against. Why the name? I know yesterday we just found out who Canada play against. Why is the name slipping me? Well, Canada's game is in Houston. So Canada, as one of the hosts of the World Cup, they'll be playing Morocco, and they'll be playing it's all over. But Canada will be playing Morocco, and that game is not going to be in Canada. Well, let's see if they change it. Yeah, it's going to be in Houston at the NRG Stadium, home of I think that's the Houston Texans. NRG Stadium is Houston Texans in the NFL. But that's it. France 3, Sweden 0. That's it for Sweden in the World Cup. I won't say I'm surprised. I think this was just about what I expected. Good game though by Sweden. Had a good first half. They were resolute, played stout defensively, but eventually the better team scored. And coming out in the second half, Sweden and Graham Potter went for the change early in changing formation, went to a 4-4-2 at the start of the second half, and instantly regretted it. I think that's a mistake that they made. They should have stayed in their formation, trusted their game plan up until the hydration break, and then you throw players at the game. But they threw caution to the wind a little bit too early, and France was there to capitalize. But that's it. France win convincingly 3-0. They will now move on and go to the round of 16, and they will be playing Paraguay this Saturday, 4th of July. They'll be playing Paraguay at 5 p.m. Canada will be playing Morocco in the curtain raise at 1 o'clock. And that will be it for the 4th of July games. The 5th of July, you're going to have Brazil plays against Norway at 4 p.m. And the next game is to be determined. The Mexico-Ecuador game, the winner of that game plays against the winner of England versus DR Congo. So England will be playing against the winner of Mexico-Ecuador. But you know what? Don't sleep on DR Congo. That game will be tomorrow at 12 noon. England versus DR Congo. Early game tomorrow. We've seen some shocks this World Cup. Can we get another shock tomorrow? So England plays DR Congo tomorrow. Belgium plays Senegal at 4 o'clock. I'm picking Senegal, and I don't think that will be an upset. You have idiots out there that's going to say that's an upset if Senegal beat Belgium. But Belgium, no good. Easy win for Senegal. Add the USA plays against Bosnia tomorrow. If I was blind to the media, I would say USA will beat Bosnia easily, right? But with all the news that came out and my glasses, something just dropped out. With all the news that came out around the USA camp, and they basically the vibe. And I will say this, I don't think the media is outright disrespecting Bosnia, but they are giving a vibe like, yeah, we're expecting a good game, wink, wink. That's the vibe I'm getting from them. And I think there's a little bit of overconfidence stepping in for the US fan base and the US followers. Let's see if it seeps into the team. If it seeps into the team, Bosnia can beat them. So all to play for tomorrow. But do remember, we'll be back on again in a couple hours. Mexico versus Ecuador. I have Ecuador winning that game. That's not a sexy pick. Let's see how right I am. But that's it, people. France, 2 goals from Kylian Mbappe, 1 from Barcola. They easily dispatched of Sweden 3-0. They move on to the round of 16 to play against Paraguay this weekend, this Sunday, or this Saturday. Also, Canada plays Morocco this Saturday in the round of 16 to see who's going to go to the quarterfinals. The other round of 32 games that are left to be played, Portugal plays against Croatia, Spain plays against Austria, Argentina plays against Cape Verde, Australia plays against Egypt, Switzerland plays against Algeria, and then Colombia plays against Ghana. Some good games have to be played. A lot to play for people. That's the World Cup. We in the fun time of the World Cup now. But like I said, see you again in a couple of hours. Do remember, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You can follow us on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast. Follow us on Blue Sky at Ball Chat Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at Ball Chat. Send us an email at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. See you guys in a bit.